one another. And then love your neighbor as you do yourself. Well, which of the other commandments should we follow? Let me give it to you simply. If you can love one another and love your neighbor like you love yourself, everything else will fall in place. Yeah. What I want you to do, I don't care what your ideologies, what your philosophies, what your perspectives are. If you don't have love at the core, it's a plain teaching. How can you love God who you've never seen and can't get along or look out for your brothers and sisters that you see every day? Now about it, these three: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Well, how will men and women know that we belong to you? Because we vote Republican or Democratic? Because we stood against abortion? Because we fought for Obamacare? How will people know that we're yours? You will know men and women are my disciples by their love. Y'all making me work real hard this morning. And let me make sure you get this. Don't be deceived because somebody gets on stage and prays in Jesus' name. Somebody said the other day that Mr. Trump has brought Jesus back to the White House. Question I got to ask about that is, when did he ever leave? Or if you want to be real deep, when was he ever there? Was he there when the founding fathers wrote a constitution that offered freedom and liberty and justice for all people, but at the same time owned slaves? Was Jesus there when slave ships went to West Africa, made the transatlantic, and some of the slave ships were owned by Christians and named Jesus? Was he there then? Was Jesus there in 1861 when the Civil War began, because the South split from the North, primarily because the Southern Baptist Christians didn't want to get rid of slaves? And for 4 years, the Union fought against the Confederacy, and the Union was led by folk who were Christians. Y'all not with me. What, was he there? Plessy versus Ferguson. Was he there? Separate but equal. Was he there when Bull Connor, public director of safety in Birmingham, would put dogs on boys and girls in Kelly Ingram Park in Birmingham, Alabama on Saturday, but Sunday he was a deacon in his church? Was Jesus there then? Was he in the White House when Lyndon Baines Johnson sent thousands of brown and black boys to Southeast Asia to fight in Vietnam for the rights of the Southern Vietnamese, while many of those who fought couldn't even vote in the same country where they live? Was Jesus there then? Was Jesus there when we sent thousands of troops to Iraq to fight in a war trying to find weapons of mass destruction and get Saddam Hussein? And since that war, we've not found not one weapon, not a BB gun, not a mosquito, not nunchucks, not even brass knuckles with nuclear capabilities. Was he there then? Just because you say the name Jesus don't mean you have the nature of Jesus. You'll know it by your love. And while I believe all politicians are flawed and none of them are perfect, if you really want to see, in my opinion, Jesus when he was in the White House, it wasn't when Trump became president. It wasn't after the inauguration. If you want to see a picture of Jesus, I'll tell you a good picture of Jesus at the White House. Friday morning. When that dude with the Kenyan father and a mama from Kansas stood on the steps of the White House with his fine wife from the south side of Chicago. And they stood side by side and had to smile at a man who's questioned his legitimacy for 8 years, who's dogged his wife out and ridiculed him and made his own political career based on tearing this man down and called him everything but a child of God, the most disrespected president in the history of America. But you got to stand there and greet this same guy who's been killing you, but smile and still say, how was church? You want to see Jesus? I saw Jesus when the president had to help this man's wife up the steps to the White House. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. That's a picture of Jesus. You want to see a picture of Jesus in the White House? Look at a man who's been married to the same woman for over 20 years, the most ridiculed and scrutinized president, and in 8 years, he's not had one scandal. Y'all not saying anything. Not one impropriety or somebody accusing him of no respect, obstructed by both sides of the government, called out his name by Congress people while he's giving a speech, but he kept his cool. That's a picture of Jesus, because had it been me president, treated like they treated him, I would have had something for all of them this past Christmas. I'd have gone down to the market in Washington, D.C. and found 2 pieces of mistletoe. I'd have put one piece on this side and one piece on this side and pulled my pants down until all of them kissed both sides. That's what I would have done had I been the president. Y'all got to pray. He ain't through with me yet. That's a picture of Jesus. Can you smile at folk that showed up been low down and don't even want to hug and reach out to you? Jesus ain't found in what you say. Jesus is found in how you live.